Welcome, star people. My name is Christopher. I'm the AstroMedium and your host, intuitive astrologer for the weekly cosmic forecast and energy update for the week of January 17th through the 23rd. We're going to take a look at some of these energies day by day, and then we're going to go back later and dissect them so we can know how better to work with these energies as they're coming in, as we go day by day, and so you can better prepare for all the weeks ahead and this year ahead, this very exciting year, the year of Aquarius, and it really begins now. This week is really pinnacle in really triggering a lot of the energies that are going to play out over this year. So let's take a look at some shifts that have already happened. So Mercury has now entered Aquarius, joining the Aquarius party. Venus has made her shift into Capricorn, which is making our love life and our relations a little bit more practical, a lot more hard work in that category. Mars has now entered Taurus, which has slowed the pace down, which is making us get what we want in more practical ways. And Uranus, as of today, has stationed retrograde, which is the post-retrograde shadow period after his retrograde, which is going to light things up. And now that Uranus is direct, we have some big energies that are coming our way this week. So let's start with Sunday. Sunday, the moon will be in Pisces, making a conjunction to Neptune. We'll make a square to the north node and a sextile to Pluto. So we've got some confusion about our path that will happen. We've got some deep emotional states we'll get into, some desires to escape. Things might feel a little hypersensitive to us. Emotions will feel somewhat powerful. There'll be some new insights that come in. There's definitely more intuitive insights and psychic awareness that can happen during that time. But on Sunday, January 17th, Jupiter in Aquarius makes his square to Uranus in Taurus. And this is a huge energy. This is a monumental energy. And I want to talk a little bit more about this later. Now let's go to Monday. Monday on January 18th, we have a moon ruled day. The moon will enter Aries at 2:09 a.m. and the moon will make a conjunction to Chiron that day. So we better expect some emotional triggers to come up, some insecurities to come up for us that day. In our day-to-day dealings, we'll see that happening with our relationships, with things that are coming up. All those wounds and insecurities we have are definitely going to come to the surface. But moon will make a sextile to Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius that day. So we've got some opportunities for potential growth, and we've got some potential resilience. So as these triggers are coming up to the surface, there's a sense of calm, there's a sense of stability. So plan for Monday to be a day of contemplation and witnessing some things that come up and honoring the things that come up for us. That might be a little sensitive for us that day, okay? So the beginning of the week is going to yield some sensitive energies, being hypersensitive to things, being a little on the weaker side energetically. That's okay. This is preparing us for some of these big energies that we're in, and we'll still be sitting in that Jupiter square Uranus energy for a while. Now let's move to Tuesday. Tuesday, the moon will make a square to Venus and a sextile to Mercury. So we're going to have a little tendency to not feel as connected. We're going to feel a little discombobulated there. There's going to be some clarity of what we want and where we're wanting to go as Mercury is making a trine to the north node. That is a beautiful aspect, and we're going to get more into that energy here in a little bit. And on Tuesday, January 19th, the sun exits reliable and responsible Capricorn and enters Aquarius, which is going to really set off some of this energy. Uranus has now gone into retrograde. Jupiter's making his square to Uranus, which is the ruler of Aquarius, and now the sun is joining the Aquarius party as we build towards the Super Stellium in Aquarius, which will happen in February. Now let's move to Wednesday, January 20th. The moon will enter Taurus at 1:58 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be an emotionally intense day. Lots of energy that day. I'm going to liken this to a thunderstorm with lots of lightning and lots of rain. So this is one of those days that we want to be patient with ourselves. Emotions will be very intense. We'll be feeling sometimes a little bit like we failed at something. Some depression can come about from that as the moon is going to make a square to Pluto and Saturn that day. So that day is going to take quite a bit of an intense turn. Some depression, some low moods, low energy can happen. And at the same time, you've got this sense of failure or sense of not doing enough. And then you've got Mars in Taurus making a conjunction to Uranus in Taurus. This is huge. This is going to set off more of this Uranus energy. Mars entering Taurus was definitely, he's definitely coming in to do something different. Uranus is all about doing something new, all about doing something innovative. And Mars says, well, I want to do that shit too. I want to join the party and cause a little trouble. Mars doesn't mind causing trouble. Mars likes to stand up for himself, move quick, and get in your face and tell you to get the hell out of his way. Well, he's conjoining Uranus. So the two of them together are going to light some fires, and this fires is going to strike when least expected. So we're going to see lots of energy, restless energy, not feeling grounded, feeling irritable even. Lots of frustrations may come to the surface as there's lots of things we feel we want to change, and this change in pace from Mars being in Taurus is really going to set some of us off. We're not able to get what we want the way we usually used to. We've got to take more time to get that. Mars conjoined Uranus. That's like, my gosh, that's like starting a wildfire. So we want to be prepared for that on Wednesday, and this energy is already starting to build. Now let's move to Thursday. Thursday on January 21st. This is another moon rule day, and this is going to kind of lead off of Wednesday as the moon is going to get involved. She's going to say, well, I want to kind of join this party as well. She's going to make a square to Jupiter early in the day, which is going to make us feel a little pessimistic, make us feel like we're missing some opportunities. But then she's going to make a conjunction to Uranus and Mars. So while Mars and Uranus are making their conjunction, the moon's going to join the party. She's like, I'm ready to do this too. While this thing is playing out, all this energy is trying to get out, and it's trying to come out in all these unexpected ways. There's a lot of rising up in the collective. There's a lot of rebellious energy that comes with that thing. I'm going to live like my way. Well, the moon says now we're going to really take that into their subconscious and make them feel it. So Thursday is going to just be a part 2 of Wednesday, as that energy will still be sitting in, and then the moon's going to do her thing and also join that Mars conjunct Uranus party. Now let's move to Friday, January 22nd. This is going to be a lighter energy this day. This is going to be one of those days, it's real sunny, clear skies. The moon is going to make a trine to Venus, which is going to make us feel really deep in our heart. We're going to feel our relationships are really going to benefit from that. We're going to feel much more enjoyable that day. There's going to be a lightening of the energy, not lightning, but lightening. And the moon is going to sextile Neptune, which is going to give us an opportunity and a potential to connect to something higher and to connect to our intuition. We're moving through our day with much more ease, and we're feeling like we're connected to things in a deeper way. The moon is going to make a square to Mercury, but that's okay. For the moon to sextile Neptune and to square Mercury the same day, that says get out of your head and get more into your intuitive side. Trust your third eye and quit listening to your right side of your brain. And the moon will trine Pluto later in the day, so there's some emotional empowerment that will come with that. With the moon trine Venus and trine Pluto the same day, we want to get real intimate. We want to get real that day. We want to get more raw with our relationships and with our day. We want to make things meaningful. And so Friday is going to be probably the day of the week that we feel the lightest and not quite as heavy. Now let's go to Saturday, which was going to send this week off with a bang. The moon enters Gemini at 2:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and will make a trine to Saturn in Aquarius and Jupiter in Aquarius. So the moon's going to say, ooh, I like this Saturn-Jupiter conjunction that's going on. Let me give them all a little taste of this. On the same day that we have some major transits that I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. Saturday is very heavy energies. We've got energies coming at us from all different directions. Based on your natal placement, you're going to respond to this a little bit differently. Some of these energies you're going to pull in more than others, but we've got 3 different songs playing all at once, and whichever genre you enjoy is probably the one you're going to tune into more, the one that's more active within you. Mars in Taurus is going to make his square to Jupiter. So he's already made his final square to Saturn. So we've had 3 Mars square Saturns in the past 6 months, and now we're having our 3rd Mars squared Jupiter in the past 6 months because Mars was in Aries for so damn long. Mars squared Jupiter is going to really set off. We've got Jupiter square Uranus early in the week, Mars conjuncting Uranus and then squaring Jupiter. Lots of things connecting. We're connecting the dots. This tells me so much passion and energy is trying to get out. So many of you are downloading all these new ideas. You're having all these new desires coming in. You're saying, I want to change this about your life, and you're ready to get it started. But when we get these things started, there's kind of a combustion that happens. It's like revving up the engine too fast before the fuel's already made it all the way in. We need to let some of this stuff simmer. This is some big ideas, some big grand moves we're ready to make, but it's a little, it hasn't incubated long enough. We're doing it too soon. On that day, Venus is going to make a sextile to Neptune. So there is a potential that day for some deeper connection, a more open-heartedness, some empathy, some generosity we'll feel like. That's really going to feel good in the heart space. But Sun conjunct Saturn the same day, there's going to be some seriousness going on. We're going to want to take ourselves seriously and get some respect and some recognition for all the hard work we've been doing. So we've got some building energies this week. Now let's take a look at some of these energies more in depth. Uranus has now entered retro shade, which is the post-retrograde shadow period. So we're going to see this surge of energy that is going to move throughout the rest of this year, as this is a Uranus-ruled year, as it is the year of Aquarius. Really start to build this week. Jupiter square Uranus. This is an amazing transit. Some of the greatest technological and scientific breakthroughs have emerged under Jupiter-Uranus energies, like the Higgs boson particle was discovered under a Jupiter-Uranus aspect. The first sheep was cloned in 1997, I believe, under a Jupiter-Uranus aspect. So some major breakthroughs have happened, and that's a breakthrough energy. Jupiter expands everything he touches, and Uranus is all about innovation. He's moving forward again now. So this is perfect timing for Jupiter to make his square to Uranus, because Uranus is now going to station direct and be his full self. Uranus does not like being retrograde, okay? He likes moving forward. He looks towards the future. He doesn't want to backpedal into some place he's already been. He wants to go into uncharted territory. He likes, if he's already made his way back around, he wants to go through charted territory and do it in a new way. Let's create a new path here, and Jupiter's going to expand that. This is also going to be a monumental time in Black history. I feel it, because if you look back in history, the Nat Turner slave rebellion, as Uranus is the planet of rebellion, happened under a Jupiter-Uranus aspect. The signing of the Emancipation Proclamation, which freed the slaves, as Uranus is the planet of freedom and liberation, happened under a Jupiter-Uranus aspect. The beginning of the Civil Rights Movement in 1954 happened under a Jupiter-Uranus aspect. And in 2008, we had Jupiter sextile Uranus when Barack Obama became the first Black president of the United States. And his rising sign also happens to be Aquarius. And that was 12 years ago, the last time that Jupiter was in Aquarius. This is a major time. We've got some cycles that are renewing now. This, to me, tells me we've got major breakthroughs in tolerance, acceptance, as Aquarius is the humanitarian. He accepts everyone for their differences, and he sees everyone as important, not just a single person. So this is a time where there's a lot more equality coming forth in the collective. And with Jupiter making a 90-degree angle square to Uranus, this is energy that is surging, okay? Squares are where two energies try to dominate each other. Uranus is trying to get Jupiter to be more innovative, and Jupiter's trying to get Uranus to be bigger. And in the process, they're both expanding each other and both filling each other up with energy. So this is an amazing time to be alive. And this is one of those moments that it's not just going to play out on this day. Sunday, we have Jupiter making an exact square to Uranus, but that doesn't mean that that's when all the stuff's going to happen. This energy's been building since the new year, and this energy's going to trail off for the next few weeks as we prepare for Saturn to also make a square to Uranus, which is going to happen 3 times this year. And that's really the main theme. And Jupiter's coming in and saying, hey, remember what I did last year when Saturn and Pluto made a conjunction to each other and I joined the party? Remember 2020? Jupiter's kind of taking some recognition for that. He's saying, I did some of that. I came in and said, oh, you've had Saturn Pluto conjunctions before. Let me come in and also conjunct Pluto and Saturn and make this year the most unforgettable year you've ever had. And now Jupiter's saying Saturn's going to square Uranus, and that's going to set the theme for this year, but I'm the opening act. So now Uranus is direct. Jupiter is making his opening square to Uranus, and this is going to set off these energies that are going to really fill out the rest of the year. Now we've got some minor energies that are happening this week that are very important. Aquarius, who is ruled by Uranus, is such an important sign this year. The fixed signs are very important, but this Aquarius energy is such a prevalent force. And the sun is making his way slowly to enter Aquarius on the 19th, and that's really going to start Aquarius season, but that's going to set off some of these Uranus energies as well. And on the same day that the sun enters Aquarius, Mercury will make his trine, 120-degree angle to the North Node. And as we know, the North Node is the trajectory of the soul. The North Node is our sense of purpose from a soul level. It's our direction we're going. It's that thread that runs through us, that's pulling us throughout our life, and that major direction from a higher perspective that we're moving toward. That's the North Node. So we're really going to be thinking not just about the future as the sun enters Aquarius and wanting to embody this future self and wanting to become our future self, but our soul is going to pull us towards that, and we're going to be more mentally in tune with that. We're going to be receiving more downloads, a lot more people. There's a lot of ascension symptoms happening right now. This week, we just had the new moon in Capricorn. We have Uranus stationing direct. So we've got some major energies playing out. The sun is making a conjunction to Pluto, and that's happening today. And that's filling us up with a lot of power, bringing a lot of things to the surface again. Cycles are coming back that want to be revisited, rehealed, reperceived in another way. The sun entering Aquarius is such an exciting time any year. Aquarius is the sign of the weirdo. He's eccentric. He doesn't give a shit what you think. He is all about standing out. He doesn't necessarily want to be the center of attention. He just doesn't want to fit in with you. If all of you are trying to be weird, he's going to dress a little bit more conservative. Born in the dead of winter, Aquarius is the anti-sign. Let me do the opposite of what everyone else is doing so that I can maintain my individuality. This is a time where we're coming into more self-acceptance, not only of all the things that we've been through, okay? Last year in 2020 was Capricorn heavy, hard work, discipline, hard lessons. Saturn was in his ruling sign, so there were lessons and karmic debts that were being paid. Now, it's time to release all of that. Out with the old, 2021, in with the new. We are moving into the future, okay? We're getting in that DeLorean, we're shutting the door, we're setting our time for whatever the hell you want to go, because this is your choice. You are choosing this at this time. With all of this Aquarius energy, and we're moving into more of this 5D consciousness, this is a choice you are making. What reality do you want to create as an individual? Because if you get in alignment with you, if you say, this is what I want, these are the desires that I have, I no longer have any shame or guilt, I no longer am basing my life and my purpose on other people and other people's expectations of me. That's very Saturn and Capricorn energy. I want to stand out. You want me to be a doctor, you want me to be an administrative assistant, you want me to be a teacher, and I don't want to do that. I want to live life by my own rules. That's Aquarius. Let's spike our hair, paint our nails. Pansexuality, for instance. Gemini is the sign of the bisexual, but Aquarius, that's pansexuality. Let's get really weird. Let's get in between. Let's accept all things. Let's create something new. Why does everything have to be binary? Why doesn't it go off into all these different directions? And that's where this energy is going. Uranus is the planet that fills us up with electricity. And think about lightning. It strikes when you least expect it, just like Aquarius. Loves to shock you and be surprising. But that lightning just spreads and goes off into all these different directions. So many options are coming in. But what this comes with for a lot of us, especially for those of us with a lot of fixed signs this year. So I have a moon sign in Leo, Venus in Leo, Mars in Leo, Jupiter in Leo. I have been getting hit hard by Uranus and Taurus for a while, but now that we've got a lot of these Aquarius energies, I'm going to go through some opposition. So if you've got planets in Scorpio, Aquarius, Taurus, and Leo, especially in the early degrees, this year is going to hit you pretty hard. And it's doing that to challenge you and to bring something out of you, because we can be more resistant to change, those of us with a lot of fixed signs. That is the fixed quality, is resistant to change and movability. There's consistency with that, but there's also this fear as well. We're moving out of a year that was very fearful for us. Saturn can fill us up with a lot of fear. Pluto is all about deep psychological fears. And when Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, we had a lot of fears that came to the surface. And those things are clearing out now. So we have a lot of emotional purging that's happening. Energies are getting lighter. But as these energies are lightening up and moving up in frequency and getting more mental with all these air sign energies, there's ungroundedness. We're not feeling grounded in our body all the time. Sometimes we're driving and we get home and we don't know how we got there, because we're so in the fourth dimension. We're so in that thought pattern. We are receiving so many new ideas and so many new directions and new ideas of where our life can go. It can be somewhat disorienting. So be mindful of that. Know that if you're feeling a little off, you can go ground yourself. It's totally fine to take rest. This is like being electrocuted. If you got electrocuted, you're worn out for a little while. So there's some more energies that are happening this week. Speaking of getting electrocuted, talk about the heat of electricity. Mars making a conjunction to Uranus. So Mars, the planet of action, how we get what we want, how we put our energy out into the world physically, our sense of adventure, impulsivity, that's Mars. And then you compare that with Uranus, which is also impulsiveness, these sudden desires for change, how you revolutionize things, how you stand out as an individual. Mars and Uranus, that is like, how do I want to put that? Woo, that's like two people that bring out the worst in each other and the best. It's like two best friends that can't stop getting in trouble with each other. It's like, hey, why don't we go break into a store, steal some shit? Ooh, yeah, that's real exciting, because we just want to live on the edge. We want that excitement. So Mars conjunct Uranus, which is going to happen exactly on January 20th, that can be some dangerous energy. Don't get me wrong, it's exciting as well, but that is some crazy energy, as there's so much energy that comes up in the body. For a lot of us, that can stimulate a lot of anxiety, a sense of restlessness, needing to do something, all these things that we've been wanting to do, all these changes we've been wanting to make in our life. And we keep thinking, oh, well, COVID's the reason I haven't been making these changes. Not necessarily. COVID definitely happened and it's still happening. But Uranus was retrograde for 4.5 months. This was holding us back from really living out these changes that we have been wanting to make in our life. And now that he's moving direct, and then Mars making that conjunction, a lot of you might be making some sudden rash decisions about things. You might be taking action from a place of wanting change, but not really planning out ahead or seeing what the outcome will be. You'll land somewhere. You'll be all right, even if you break a few bones after you jump out the plane. It was exciting on the way down, right? It doesn't have to be that way, though, okay? Mars he's impulsive, but Uranus makes him more impulsive. Mars just wants to take action, and Uranus says, do it now. Do it now, do it now. Don't wait. And also, taking a different approach is what's needed right now. We have all gotten into such a rut. We've gotten into these ways of doing things, especially with COVID, these new routines. It shook things up for sure. Uranus is in Taurus right now. The last time he was in Taurus was during the Great Depression, okay? So the shit that's going on in the world right now, it's kind of supposed to be. Uranus is revolutionizing those Taurian themes in our world, our food supply, our housing, real estate, shelter, our basic needs are being revolutionized right now and suddenly changed. And those basic needs, we don't like those things changed. Taurus doesn't like change, okay? So he's in a sign that is hard to revolutionize because those revolutionary ideas he has, he's taking it into those more physical, material themes that Taurus, because Taurus is very earthy, very real. So be mindful of this Mars conjunct Uranus energy that's coming up, because if you feel like doing something, we want to wait. You might be making the right decision. Okay, if you go ahead and quit that job, it might be the best thing that's ever happened to you. And I know a lot of you are suddenly feeling like, I don't want to be at my job anymore. I want to live my purpose. I want to fulfill what I came here to do after what I went through last year. I don't want to live a life where I don't live life by my own rules and I don't have the excitement that I'm now looking for. All of this Aquarius and Uranus energy can make you want more excitement, sometimes for no damn reason, and that's okay. Life should be exciting. But that can also be super disorienting because Uranus is very rebellious and Aquarius can be rebellious for no reason sometimes. So be mindful that you are being offered opportunities to make changes, but that doesn't mean that we have to, and it doesn't mean it has to happen now, even when that energy surges inside of you, okay? So the ending of the week on Saturday, January 23rd, we've got so many energies happening that day, and we're building toward them. Mars is going to make his square to Jupiter, and this is going to stimulate even more changes because Jupiter expands everything he touches. And when Mars and Jupiter make a square, there's this impulsiveness to want to act in grand ways. We've got these big ideas for our life and we want to do it big and we want to do it now. So this is going to really compound this Mars conjunct Uranus energy as they're just happening a few days apart from each other. So please be patient with yourself and don't make so many decisions just from a feeling state. Really plan it out and say, okay, I'm getting more clear right now. This is helping me become more clear. It's helping me become more sure of myself as well. Some of this energy might get so hot and so uncomfortable that you know, I've got to make this change, I've got to make this move, and I have to make this at some point. It doesn't have to happen now, because if it happens now, we might be moving from, again, when it's like giving birth too early. Sometimes you need to let it wait a little bit while longer. Sometimes it's still stewing, it's still sprouting, it's still growing, and we want to pick it while it's ripe. Venus is also going to make a sextile to Neptune, and we can benefit from that energy that day. And that's some differing energy. Mars is going to say, push out, and Venus is going to say, come back in and enjoy life. Neptune is saying, escape a little bit. Get with your partner, watch a movie, go outside, stare at the sky, meditate for a little bit, have some good sex, enjoy yourself, eat some good food. Venus sextile Neptune can also make us a little lazy, but with Mars square Jupiter, some of you might be pulling in this energy of, I've got to be doing something, especially because the sun is making a conjunction to Saturn. The sun is our life force, it's our consciousness, it's that Mars is how we put that energy out, but the sun is the energy itself. When sun makes a conjunction and joins with Saturn like that, there is this, I should be doing more. I need to be working harder. I need to get somewhere that I'm not. And Venus is saying, take your time. You're already going there. With the sun making a conjunction to Saturn, you can actually receive more praise, more recognition from authority figures, bosses, parents. That can happen at this time, but you're also wanting it more. You also want to be taken more seriously. So what I would say on Saturday is there's going to be so many energies coming at us. Choose the frequency that you want. The one that I want, Venus and Neptune energy, okay? I need to take a motherfucking break. That's what I need to do. And I also need to relax more, okay? I also need to tell myself I'm doing a good job, and I have been doing that more. This is an opportunity to say, hey, you know what you want. You've got big ideas. You know you want to go there and do that. You have more ideas coming, though. Maybe this story isn't finished. Maybe you're trying to publish that book too soon. And maybe you do have what it takes. Maybe you've been holding yourself back, but you're not going to get there by forcing it. Maybe you just need to relax a little bit, smoke a little weed, eat some good food, have a little sex. Venus wants you to enjoy this process, but Saturn wants you to reward you. He loves to give you lessons. He loves to say, you're not doing enough and you need to learn this lesson, but he's the planet of karma. Karma is that action and reaction. So he's saying, we have put in so much work. So that's a time where we may receive the benefit of all that hard work. And you will receive more when you're in a receptive state. Venus and Neptune are receiving planets, okay? Venus is very feminine energy, all about that reception and relation. And Neptune is about something higher, something more spiritual, something more ethereal, transcending that physical need, which is that escapism that can come from Neptune. But it's also saying, you're taking all this way too seriously. There's a lot happening down here on the ground, and it's very heavy. Mars is very heavy energy. Saturn's very dense energy. So you may have to purposefully tune to that Venus-Neptune energy because it's a lighter frequency. It's vibrating up here. Tune to that, pull that in, and tell yourself, I'm not going to feel guilty about relaxing and taking time for me. I have given so much of my time to my work. I've given so much of my time to my family. I have been worried about my life in the world for too long. I don't have to do this anymore. All right. So basically, we are in the upswing. As the roller coaster click, click, click goes up, February, we're going to experience that first drop. And the first drop is not a bad thing because we're going down. That drop is what is needed to take the momentum to another place and propel that roller coaster all the way through the rest of that ride. We're on the ups. We're going up right now. In February, we're really building here. We've got Mercury in Aquarius now, Jupiter in Aquarius, Saturn in Aquarius. The sun is about to join the party. And then on, I think it's February 11th, the moon, we'll have the new moon in Aquarius. We'll have the moon in Aquarius. Venus will be in Aquarius at that time. Mercury will be retrograde in Aquarius. I know you all can't wait for that. Jupiter, Saturn, and Pallas will all be in Aquarius. A super stellium in Aquarius has not happened since the 1960s. So like I always like to say, shit's about to get weird. And people go, well, hasn't it already been weird? No, baby. Last year was not weird. 2020 was not weird. There were weird things about it, things that we weren't used to. But that doesn't mean it's weird. That means it was uncomfortable. All that Capricorn energy, we had Uranus and Taurus, Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, and Capricorn. That's a lot of earth energy. Mars and Aries, very passionate. We're used to a lot of that. But that's very earthy. All things to do with government and corporations and finances and monetary systems and basic needs. It's uncomfortable. Those are things we don't want fucked with, and it was getting fucked with hard. Lots of things coming to the surface, but it wasn't weird. It was things that were necessary and shifts that are happening. Weird are those things that are not normal, things that we've never seen before, things that are kind of beckoning us to a future that we've never imagined before, opening our mind to something. Shit's about to get weird, okay? All right, everybody, if you want to book a reading with me, you can go to www.christopherwithayMedium.com. You should also be following me on Instagram if you're not already at the.astromedium. I'm also on TikTok if you want a little entertainment at the.astromedium. I also teach astrology class every Wednesday night at Eclipse over Roswell here in Atlanta, Georgia at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The class can get pretty full, so we do recommend that you pre-register. The link is Visit Eclipse, all one word, visiteclipse.as.me/astro. Again, that's visiteclipse.as.me/astro. A lot of you are going, what the hell's a square? What's a conjunction? What is he talking about? Join me. I will teach you. Astrology is a roadmap. It is a gift. It is so spot on, okay? So for all of you who are wanting to expand your astrological knowledge, not just so you can become an astrologer, so that you can say, I know what rain is. I know what a cloud is. I know what lightning is. I get all that. When you watch the weather, Don't you understand what they're talking about when they're saying this is what's going to happen that day? You kind of get, okay, I'm going to need to take my umbrella. Astrology lets you know these are some energies that are going to be playing out and some possibilities that may occur. Here's the soil. We all have free will, so the specifics we may create in the moment, but there's atmospheres, temperatures, and environments in which things are going to take place. Join me. Let's learn this together so that we can take this ancient art and science and take it into the future together. Good night, everyone. I will see you next week here on Soulfire for another weekly cosmic forecast. Have a good night.